Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, online. Quick check.
Yes.
Drago. Perfect. Okay. Well, let me be the first to say welcome to the Festival of Computational Finance and thank you for being here today in person and of course online. I'm Mikica Drnovak and I've had the real pleasure of managing the Masters in Computational Finance program for the past year. It's a joy to welcome all of you, our students, our alumni, our partners, and of course those of you who are just now discovering MCF program. For us, this is much more than just an event. It's a celebration of everything this program has grown to become. Today you'll hear why MCF program stands out, not just in our region, but across Europe and honestly, also globally. You'll hear what makes it so unique, so bold and transformative, and why students from all over the world choose us and join us in the first place. What's perhaps most exciting, you'll see why our program isn't just for economists or programmers or engineers. It's for problem solvers, for explorers, for people, I would say, ready to learn how to think and work in entirely new ways. You'll hear what actually happens when people from different countries, different disciplines come together, sit down and start solving hard problems as a team. And this is where the magic happens, trust me. Yes, we are very much proud to be recognized as a leader in a computational finance education. But the truth is, the skills and mindsets our students develop go way beyond. They become analysts, innovators, and of course, leaders. You know, I'm sure, those jobs where hundreds of them apply, but only one or two make it through. Well, chances are that one of them is our student, and we tend to know all of them first name. So that is exactly what we want to celebrate today, the MCF community and the MCF way of thinking. So, to kick things off properly, I want to introduce the person who made all of this possible, the heart and soul of the program, a mentor, a visionary, and my dear friend, Branko Rošović. Thank you once again. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay, good. So, I was thinking how to start this presentation because I'm doing it every year. It's always different. And actually, a student of mine, former student of mine who is currently in this room, somebody who I haven't seen for a long time. Recently I met her and she told me that I prominently featured in her hero's journey, which is something you write in the executive MBA. You don't do that yet in MCF, maybe we should do that. So what she did was something that touched me a lot because she created a comic book where somehow I appeared as one of the characters that was somehow helpful, character of a mentor. And that really touched me, what can I say? And then I thought, okay, well, maybe I need to tell you about my journey and how did I end up doing what I'm doing. Because I have been really doing something that seems to me, for me, is really the essence of my life, what I have done as an adult human. And so I was born in Belgrade. I went to Matematička gimnazija, the School of Mathematics. And then I spent more than 20 years studying and working abroad. I went to Moscow State University, Lomonosov, to do my bachelor degree in physics. Then I did an PhD at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island in the US. And then at University of California, Berkeley, Haas School of Business, where I did a PhD in finance. How did I end up in finance? Because I worked for 2 years in McKinsey and KPMG, the strategic consulting companies. And the most interesting stuff there, about the only interesting stuff for me, was when I did stuff related to finance, because there was a huge connections between how people think when they do financial modeling and how people think solving some physics problems. And I thought, well, if I can make money, because with physics I couldn't make any money. So if I could make money by doing finance and use some of the things that I've learned before and learn some new things, then why not? So over the years, after I finished my PhD, I spent a lot of time trying to kind of give back to the community. And so I created some of the, I would say, most innovative finance education programs. Because I realized, okay, it's nice to write papers, and it's when you are a professor, you're forced to do that. And I did that as well. But creating innovative programs that teach people things in a way that makes a difference in their lives, that's something that is really a big kick for me. I really enjoy it. And so my former students, then I work now in Serbia and in more than 60 countries, actually 65 at current counting. At the top institutions and corporations, and also in global academic programs. So actually, before this talk, 2 days ago, I found out that one of my students got a job as a professor at UCLA in Los Angeles, University of California, which was a big deal for me when I heard that. And then another one became just a tenured professor at Cornell. So, okay, I couldn't complain. And then some others working with Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Recently, from last year's student got a job in Holland in a hedge fund. So things are, in that sense, I cannot imagine a nicer things to see basically how they are progressing. It was obviously a privilege to have such wonderfully smart people to work with. And also not only they're smart, but by and large, they're also really, really nice people. So building a community of nice people who do good things on a high professional level, this kind of community for me is the most valuable. Over the years, I received offers from the top US schools to teach there, because they were quite excited about some of the things that I'm doing. And those salaries were higher than the whole budget that we have in this program for the whole year. But somehow I returned here and I'm doing this. And why? Well, because the people that teach here, the students, the alumni, the board members, we have this vision, I think so, to have a world-class, globally competitive program in computational finance, and we know that it should be here. And it should be here, well, for one reason, because why it wouldn't be here? I'm here, and they're here. And, but also because we feel that there is so much potential that we can exploit and develop in this country, which are not, people usually take a very negative view about everything here, and I think there are lots of good things that people mostly don't notice. And the good things, they require a lot of effort, and destructive things don't require almost any effort. They happen by itself. And so I always thought, well, my decision to come back came right after the war, of the bombing of Serbia, and I wanted to do something, to do the opposite, to do the negative entropy, to use the physics analogy. Now, what makes this program possible, more than a very modest budget and the institution in which we are embedded, which is the School of Computing, is the unshakable enthusiasm of everybody who is involved. So what can you expect today? You will hear what and who makes the Master in Computational Finance program so special. And you shall meet some of our professors, students, and alumni, as well as our board members. And so basically, that's pretty much the whole community, but representative samples. Some others really wanted to be here with us, but they couldn't for a variety of reasons. One of them just got injured. Why is this important? Because the future of finance and the business, more broadly, is already here. So the business is now very quantitative, it's very data-driven. It's not about just finding out who you know, which party they belong, and so on. It's about creating things. They're powered by programming, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And so it needs people who can connect the dots between understanding the code and the algorithms and understanding the business side, how the capital moves, how the business is made, between the models and the market, so to speak. And this is the gap which we try to fill, and I believe we are filling it quite nicely. So MCF is the unique blend of finance, programming, and AI, integrated from day one. And you work on real-world problems using Python, R, generative AI, utilizing modeling techniques and trading platforms. You extract insights from the complex data and develop solutions that matter in practice. Along the way, you learn from the finance leading professionals, and this is quite important, I want to stress this, how to invest, how to manage risk, and how to trade. In other words, you are able to much better preserve and increase your wealth in this highly uncertain times. That means that even if you don't use MCF for any professional reason, it's good enough to just learn how to invest well. This is already very much worth the price of the admission. But there is a lot of professional reasons to do it. So basically, using the Venn diagrams, like Kamala Harris used to enjoy doing, now this looks like a very past tense. It is basically lives in the intersection of computer science, finance, quantitative methods, and data science, machine learning, and AI. And so, as you can see, each one of these fields can take the entire year of studying. So obviously, we cannot do everything that anybody can do in one given field. What we are doing, we are creating this intersection. Actually, we are, in Europe, one of the forefronts of creating this intersection. So a couple of distinctive characteristics, there are many of the program. It has 2 tracks and has very diverse participants. Mikica mentioned this second thing. So the 2 tracks means that there is a master track for those who want to get, in the end, the Master in Computer Science degree with the / Computational Finance. That's how they had to invent the degree in Serbia for us. There was no such degree, this / Computational Finance. And for that, to enter into such program, you need to have at least a 4-year undergraduate degree. We have admitted over the years people with master's degrees, also people with PhDs, maybe 3 or 4 so far, which is interesting. There are such programs where you get PhD and then you still come to study. But there are people that love to study, like me. You know, so. And then there is a short track. The short track does not require that you have a 4-year degree. So maybe you were spending time doing other things and you couldn't quite finish. Maybe some of the students, for example, who did that, and they ended up starting their own startup, and then they didn't have time to finish, but they still actually went through the short cycle, because the short cycle track has exactly the same courses as the master's track. And very interesting from my point of view is that we accept people, and this is quite different with most other similar programs, except for the one in Carnegie Mellon in the United States. We accept people from very different backgrounds. We accept both the engineers and mathematicians and physicists on one end, but also economists, but also doctors and lawyers. There is a lawyer that just came in. Can you wave your hand? Yeah, here is a lawyer. Very excellent performer in the program, if I may say, like all the other people here that came. Startup founders, from novices to seasoned professionals. So the oldest participant this year is 58-year-old chemical engineer from Ghana. The youngest is 21. And from Serbia, obviously, quite a few, and also from abroad. So far, in the past 5 years, we had people from about 21 or 2 countries. You could say that maybe if we have such a diversity of backgrounds, it would be impossible to do anything with such people. But we have to invent something, is how to work with that. So obviously, it's never completely flawless, that there is always occasional trouble, with the working, but we work in groups that are put together on purpose to contain people of different backgrounds, and this is really making all the difference. So we start in December with the 2 months boot camp, and the goal is to create a level playing field so that by February we all speak the same language, which means by February everybody should know some Python and R. They should all know how to basically generate code and create other cool things using ChatGPT or similar generative AI software. And also they need to learn enough finance so that they can follow the rest of the program. So it all comes together because when we introduce some programming concept, we do it through finance questions that we ask and vice versa. So that basically engineers who don't know anything about finance, they learn finance, whereas those who don't know anything about programming, they learn programming, and they work together in projects that are practical, and they learn from each other. So this is very briefly the program structure. So we have 5 required classes. This is this blue. And there are also 5 electives from which people can choose 2. So or they can choose more than 2, but 2 is they are required to choose 2. So we can have questions later on if there is any questions. And so here you can see that basically some of the classes are taught using Python, whereas others are taught using R. Some are with Excel. So this is Python, this thing that looks like a snake, I guess. So basically, okay. So how do we learn? As I mentioned, we work in teams. You cooperate on group projects, assignments, trading competitions, and of project work that mimic the real world teams. The classes are organized in English in the evening hours from 6 p.m. Central European time in a hybrid format, so that therefore if you are not in Belgrade, not in the classroom, you can still follow it using Zoom. And if you don't have time, you can watch it in Vimeo showcases because we tape everything and we organize it there. And we have a Google Classroom, which basically has organized materials, so everything is running pretty smoothly. Now, you guys can tell us whether I'm lying or not. You can talk to them. We try very hard anyway to be organized. And then what is interesting is this is quite unique. So all the teachers that are teaching are actually doing for living what they are teaching. So basically the guy who is going to teach, and you might hear him if he is able to escape from his work in Switzerland. So the guy who was basically going to teach derivatives trading is in fact the head of derivatives trading for the first bank in Switzerland that trades, which is only crypto assets, they called Namina Bank. And so, and things like that. So the people who are doing investments, there are people who actually have their own hedge fund, and so on and so forth. So, plus we have guest lecturers from BlackRock, Citibank, Ernst & Young, and so on. And then we have also the benefits from the partnership with the world-class institutions, and we are going to talk about ARPM. Actually, the person who is one of the key persons in that organization will actually talk about this partnership, and she is also now teaching starting this year in our program. What happens after you complete the MCF? Well, one is, as I mentioned, you know how to not do stupid things if you want to invest money. So you don't give money to YESDA and DAFINA, for those who know what it means, or some similar institutions which are plentifully present all over the world. Now with the creation of AI, the chances of running into some scams or some other things like that very high. But even if you're not scammed, you can still make mistakes in a very crazy environment that we are now dealing with the risks. But basically what you do, you enter the global network of top quality professionals who are redefining finance and business. And so whether you are a seasoned professional or just starting with your professional life, you can benefit a lot from the knowledge and the network. So just to give you an idea, so for example, there were some young people with practically no background, background. They're smart people knowing a lot, but with no jobs before that they did, or very little experience. And they all got, in the last few months, they all got jobs, and very good jobs. And some of these jobs were these highly competitive with many candidates that they beat. And so basically you might meet some of them. Okay. Very briefly, there is a whole lot of different areas, and this is just a short list where our alumni now are, and I don't want to take any more of your time. You can see them briefly. You can see it's quite a diverse group of roles. And to conclude, there is actually very few programs in the world that can match what we offer, that we can take a dentist and make him an expert in finance. And not only in finance, but in computational finance, so that that dentist also can program and do all kinds of other things. That's kind of insane. And when I talk to some of my colleagues at Oxford that have the same program with the same name and that look kind of similar on paper, they told me, well, the big difference is that if I teach finance, I don't really care about knowing anything about programming, and a programmer doesn't know anything about finance. Our teachers actually who teach finance, they all program as well. And so this is a big difference. And this is very, very unique. And so, well, welcome to the festival. And I'm looking forward to the conversations ahead. So we will ask you to make questions before we start with this panel discussion. Then basically before that, we can give the chance for others to present. Is that okay? And basically, if you, somebody you know is interested, we are actually already accepting applications for 2025-26. We make decisions on a rolling basis. That means that if you apply now, you can enroll after we have the process. The process is you need to send us your CV and your diploma, or no diploma if you don't have a diploma, if you apply for the short cycle. And then basically we organize an interview. And after that, we make a decision whether we accept you or not. And so the interviews are usually in-depth, but not technical. So the idea is to understand how you would fit in, and whether you are excited enough about doing this, because it is challenging 12 months program. You need to put an effort. But it's well worth the effort. And we start on December 1st, 2025. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Branko. Just a short reminder, as Branko said, in what follows, we will hear from our lecturers and alumni, followed by questions and answers. Alumni will have the opportunity to share their experience, of course, and the closing of the session is reserved.
Students. And we have students and the alumni.
Okay, yes.
The current
generation, sorry. Okay. Yes, the closing of the session is reserved for panel discussion, featuring distinguishing members of MCF Advisory Board and senior professionals from leading global institutions. The topic is broadly put as what the industry expects from tomorrow's talent. Let's now hear from Milena Kojic. She is advanced risk and portfolio management researcher and one of their most popular instructors. Milena, please take over.
Okay, thank you very much for your introduction, and hello everyone. So as you have heard, my name is Milena Kojic. I'm researcher and instructor in field of advanced data science applied to quant finance. It's a great pleasure to be here today, and it's a great pleasure to be a friend of this program. So I will use my 5 minutes to briefly introduce myself, to share my journey with you, and basically to explain you what perspective I may bring to this program, as well as how I fit actually to this program. When it comes to my educational background, it's fully rooted in applied mathematics. I did my bachelor and master degree in financial mathematics, and then I did my PhD in stochastic optimization, all 3 degrees at the University of Novi Sad, Faculty of Sciences. I actually began my career there as a research and teaching assistant. I was teaching courses like financial mathematics, numerical mathematics, mathematical models in economy, econometrics, maybe I already said that. So all applied math, financial math courses. Those were courses which are part of 3 different master programs, master program in applied mathematics, applied statistics, and data science. Then at some point, I fully focused my interest toward research. I got interested in green finance, green and sustainable financial instruments. I wanted to analyze chaos and dynamic within those time series, and I wanted to use math tool to model actually the nexus between economy and environment. That led me to join Department of Environmental Economics at the Institute of Economic Sciences here in Belgrade. I think it was 2018. However, teaching was always my great passion, and I think key characteristic of my professional identity. So in 2019, I became a member of training team and research team of Advanced Risk and Portfolio Management, or the RPM. So what is RPM? RPM is educational company. We are based in New York and founded in 2009 by Attilio Meucci. Our main mission is to promote and set the highest standards of learning in advanced data science and quant finance. So our mission is really to show how all of these advanced techniques across data science, AI, and quant finance fit together. So I always like to say that's a really ambitious goal, but commitment we make at the RPM. Why is RPM specific? We are, I think, specific because we offer a unique approach to data science in terms that we distinguish linear mean covariance framework from probabilistic framework, and then we add the 3rd dimension, which is dynamic, and introduce time series and sequential decisions. And then in quant finance, we are also unique because we offer and teach quant finance checklist. This is a 10-step approach which help quants navigate and win this risk-return battle. So basically, we provide a real-world playbook with 10 steps that can help you maximize your performance while managing risk. And we do this through 3 blocks. One is financial engineering, then portfolio and enterprise risk management, and finally, portfolio construction and trading. But what really sets RPM apart from other competitors, I think this is the way we teach, because at the heart of the RPM is RPM Lab. RPM Lab is one comprehensive e-learning platform. So literally a massive structured knowledge database. We have nearly 3,000 pages of theory, exercises, examples, real-world case studies, all supported by Python code with Python animations that can show you intuition of all complex terms, a lot of exercises, proofs, and summary slides. We also offer several different training programs, intense courses at New York University, and online in-depth programs. Those programs have been attended by professionals from top financial institutions like JP Morgan, Goldman, Barclays, the Bank of America, and so on. But what is important for today is that we are very proud of our academic partners and our academic program. This means that many leading universities worldwide are using RPM Lab, and they integrate our syllabus into their study programs. And now the most important thing is that from this year, all students of this program and all future students will have free, full access to the RPM Lab. So students will have opportunity to learn, to deepen their understanding and knowledge in these fields, and they will use the same platform which is trusted by academia and industry. Moreover, the collaboration between RPM and this program will offer students different benefits if they decide to take our courses, but maybe more importantly, we will offer them, they will benefit from extensive collaboration and networking because they will have opportunity to connect with the global community of researchers, instructors, and practitioners in the field. And now, last but not the least, we will also be able to offer internship for students And I hope that I will not only join as a guest lecturer in this semester, in the next semester, but I would also like to take a role of supervisor and mentor some of the students during their master thesis. And that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Milena. I hope our students will benefit much from this cooperation. Now let me hand it over to Dan Mutadic, inside MBI alumnus and one of the leading experts in merger and acquisition in our region.
Well, hello. I can see two my dear friends there on the screen. I'm very happy to see them for a while. So I basically come from the other side. So I'm business, 100%, no academia. We recruited, we have had at least 3 your students. In fact, one of them went on, after I wasn't so happy about this at the time, but she went to Goldman Sachs in London, mid-office. She's been working there for about 10 years.
Speak up about that, please.
Speak, yeah.
Louder.
Goldman Sachs. And then I saw her father last weekend, and he said, "You said there's no chance you will get the job." And I said, "I was wrong." He goes, "Yes, you were." It's true. And 2 of them are still with us for years now. So what we do is M&A. We started here in 2008. Only doing private transaction. We started with the first one was Saga. It was a big IT company at the time, and then Medigroup. Now this is we sold them Klinkaristic, and then Miloš Klinika, and a bunch of others, and we did all the for Sport Vision over the years in various countries, so Slovenia, Albania, Croatia, Romania, etc. We also brought Under Armour. It's a sports brand. That's kind of it's not so big now, but it's quite. People know about it over here. I don't know how many hundreds of pharmacies and IT and all kinds of things. And we were looking for people because I came from the UK. My partner came from the US. He was a New York trader. So we, for about 10 years, I thought that what we needed were people that knew local accounting, which, by the way, goes back to the 19th century German accounting. And then we realized at some stage that auditors, when they spend 2 years there in audit, they're completely ruined. And they can't use their brain. They can't think about what is the nature of this expense, what is the nature of this revenue, is it recurring, what is going on. And then about 5 years ago, I spoke to Professor Urošević, and he said, well, you need somebody with 1 year's programming experience. And that changed the whole paradigm. That changed absolutely everything. And so the people that do this are completely different people from somebody that works at Deloitte or at, sorry.
Dan, may I just say, what about the auditors who learn how to program in our program? This is already something else.
There aren't any.
Oh, you're wrong, very much, as you will find out.
They're the smart ones. They realize that this is, but this change, because what we need is somebody that can use their brain. I mean, in our business, there's a lot of adjustments and things. If you're doing transactions in this country and you're working with, I don't know, we sold company to Gucci and to Schmucci and like many of them to major international publicly listed companies, but you need to explain and need to understand. And if you do this credibly and honestly, they will accept it and believe it. And we never had a client that had to pay any damages ever on the sell side, because they were honest with us and we were honest with the clients. But you have to explain. So, but it takes a certain kind of mindset to be a problem solve that.
Then we need to wrap up because we have the timing.
Sorry?
We have to wrap up because we have the timing.
Yeah, so we'll stop there.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Let's move on. Vladislav Radak is one of our professors who on daily basis employ in practice what they teach. And I will let now Vladislav to say something about the courses he teaches.
Hi, everyone. I hope that you can hear me well. Just give me a nod or some sign. I'm just representing from Germany. My name is Vladislav Radak, and I'm financial consultant and lecturer for more than a decade now, working in banking and finance sector all across the Europe. For 5 years, I was teaching at the Technical University of Dortmund financial mathematics. And I am lucky right now to lead a team of financial forensic experts in fields of portfolio management and Basel for risk management and similar things that are providing experts with advanced tools to navigate this complex regulatory landscape. Branko, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2021 or 2022, Professor Rošević got in touch with me. We were actually collaborating when we were both at the University of Belgrade, which seems like a distant past now. And he pitched me this idea of Master of Computational Finance. And before he even finished, I said yes, because I knew that there is like a huge potential and that could possibly turn into something great, which we are all here to prove, hopefully. At Master of Computational Finance, I'm teaching 2 courses that I'm super proud of, and that I believe after all of those years evolved into something really solid, entertaining, and a great foundation for our students to build upon. The first one is financial computing and quantitative investments. Actually, I need to have that written down under my monitor all the time because I forgot how is it called. We usually call it quantitative investments, but I would believe that this is one of the really interesting courses, and there is probably nothing alike in a similar institutions, mostly because not only that we're teaching students to navigate this complex landscape of portfolio optimization and investment and computational finance, but also we lead students into something that we are kind of always looking forward that we're super proud of, and this is like this kind of investment game where for the good second part of the first semester, we were actually dividing students into groups where we give them sort of virtual money in order for them to invest and to test their strategies, their beliefs, and everything what we were learning them, teaching them during this course. And I often get my ass beat by many of my students. I always try to stay on the top, but it just proves that as a lecturer who always challenges himself, a lot of my students tend to end up being better than me in a lot of parts of finance, or at least in some parts of those. And this first course is something that they can already prove themselves. The second semester, I am teaching something that is even closer to my heart, that I also believe it's really important. It's an elective course, but I have enough part of the first semester of the boot camp where I teach the basics of financial mathematics, and then in quantitative investments, I have a lot of opportunities to nudge my students into select this elective course. And this is quantitative risk management, where we learn, where we teach our students to perform independent risk modeling and verifications of risk modeling across different risk classes. This is something that is obviously a huge, as we call it, cash cow in a sort of financial fields that I'm working on. And not only that, but it proves to be a litmus test to navigate this chaos that we're currently facing, where a lot of financial institutions are not adhering to regulations, etc., and they provide, you know, huge risk for investors. FTX or any similar financial startups are obviously a great example of things that we try to model and stay away from. The last but not least, I just want to stress out the great synergy coefficient we have between our students. I think I repeated that year over year, especially this year was no different, where we had a group of, let's say, like a couple people where somebody is like a financial expert with a huge track record and already great experience. Then we had like a movie producer, I don't know, a dentist, and just a regular student that was coding during bachelor degree and didn't have too much knowledge in Python. And groups like that and intersections and synergy just proves that we can go even further than, you know, classical institutions that are cherry picking their students only from you know, physics or mathematical backgrounds. Yeah, I hope that was enough from my introduction. I would be also very happy to answer all of your questions by email. If you send them at our official emails, they will definitely forward that to me. Yeah, in the meantime, once again, thank you for amazing introductions from all of my colleagues and collaborators. And yeah, looking forward to see some of you December 1st.
Thank you, Radica, once again for sharing all these details with us. Professor Drago Indjic has been with us from the very beginning. He has helped and inspired many generations of Branko students in achieving their professional goals, myself included. Professor Drago, please.
Thank you, Mikica. I have decided not to use any of these slides, so if people would like to see a couple of these slides, they can download them and get them from you. And listening to all of you, and this is a proper teamwork, and a lot of my peers, I just realized that we are still a founding team. We're still together, almost 30 years later, and that is absolutely great news. And we have been involved together in quantitative finance. So after my PhD 30 few years ago, I have started doing quantitative finance, and then many hedge funds and startups later. 5-6 years ago, after a fintech experience, I have shifted my focus to something called fintech. And the reason why this fintech elective is something I'm very proud of in our program is that quantitative finance and risk management and derivatives is institutional sized business. It is B2B. We are delivering people who are happy to work for global banks and brokerages and do derivatives. But on the other hand, we all have mobile phones, and these mobile phones are offering apps like Revolut, some European digital identity wallets, and some solutions for financial planning and even trading. And that became my interest, retail perspective of quantitative finance. Retail client, small client, somewhere on the planet. It can be Africa, it can be Korea, it can be Europe, or it can be Serbia. And this original syllabus, this elective, has been thoroughly tested. And I'm very happy that Belgrade MCF will be my 17th generation or cohort of fintech students. And the very same elective that is enjoyed by my students at Queen Mary University, quite a lot of them, over 150 this year, and UCL and elsewhere, is actually delivered in the same package up to the same standard in Belgrade. Obviously, I have around a dozen students in this competition with other electives, but I feel that I'm bridging a gap between big money and big institutions. And I'm still very proud that I have never ever worked for a bank, always with hedge funds, always on the side of startups, and some other things like crypto, blockchains, etc. And I feel that this is a very good experience for people who would like to stay in quantitative finance on business side to understand entrepreneurship, etc. No further slides. I'm happy to get your questions at the end in Q&A. That's it in 2 minutes. Thank you, Nikica. Mike, over to you.
Thank you, Drago. Andrej Čobilić from Amina Bank is our current generation student, one of the most prominent one, and also our lecturer from next academic year for financial derivatives trading game. Andrea, please take over.
Thank you, Mikica, and good day to everyone. Big thanks for inviting me here, and big thanks to Branko for holding the space and organizing this great program, and also to all the good people here amongst the faculty, and also some of the friends who are here. It's a pleasure and an honor to be invited to speak here, and it's really amazing to me how many good people and exceptional professionals have come together here to give the chance to students to attend this program. It is something special. So please, I'm going to try to speak in 5 to 7 minutes, but Mikica, please stop me, because if I get a little bit too inspired on any one of the topics, I can spiral easily.
You will have your chance also later.
Thank you.
Within the panel discussion, don't worry.
My name is Andrej Čobilić. I'm currently serving as a managing director at Amina Bank in Switzerland. I'm head of derivatives trading and deputy head of trading here. Amina Bank is a digital asset bank. It is one of the first 2 in Europe. We got the licenses the same day in Switzerland, fully licensed bank and securities dealers who are focused on digital assets and cryptocurrencies and stuff. I'm 23 years in finance this year. And I was lucky to work in companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and UBS, always as a trader, both on the franchise side, serving clients, but also on the proprietary side, managing banks' risks. And I worked in a few well-known hedge funds in London and in Switzerland. I've joined this program completely unexpectedly, thanks to God and thanks to my beautiful relationship with Branko, where I was asking for some advice on how to improve my coding skills at this stage of my career, and then Branko invited me to the program, and it turned out to be the right thing for me at this time. Look, I said I really like the people, and I really respect the faculty. Starting with Branko, who I have the highest respect for as a human being and as a professional, but also all the other professors that I've met. I'll give you just 2 quick stories. During the boot camp, actually the first classes was a boot camp in economics held by Nicola Senici, who I've not met before, but this is also a very smart guy, very knowledgeable, who was extremely excited to give the lectures. And that's something that I noticed with everyone, also with Mr. Rada, who just spoke a few minutes ago. everyone is so excited when they teach at this course. It's like, it's very resonant and it's very, very inspiring. Mr. Senishi was, just in the first lecture that I attended, he was able to tell me an anecdote and a story about something that happens at one of the biggest commodity trading firms in the world, the biggest one that is located in Zug. I'm currently in Zug. This is where I work. And I know that company and I know the guys, but I've never knew that story about how they hire people and ask them to leave after a certain number of years. I've never heard that story before, but this I heard in my first lecture, and it was something that was kind of in my field and where I think I'm really well informed. But not only in my field, it was a company that I know well and is in the town of 30,000 people where I've been living most of my time for the past 10 years. And I managed to learn that at the first lecture, which was really, it was unexpected at that time, but I've learned that that's something that is standard in this program. And it's not always from the lecturers. Sometimes it's from the students. Who are sometimes the students are the same or similar age as me, and sometimes they're 20 years younger, but we're all learning from each other constantly, and it's very, very exciting. I think Mr. Radak mentioned that the groups are formed in a special way, and in my case it was the group that I'm a part of. We've become friends and colleagues, and we're already discussing different ways to help each other, but also we have business ideas. And again, this chemistry is special. And then, another story that I'll quickly try to share in this time window is the story of the trading game. It's a trading game that Professor Radak just talked about. I saw at one point, there's a trading game. We have to create an account, and it's going to start tomorrow. It's for 2 months. It's competitive. We have to trade. And for me, it's, I work 5 days a week. It's quite intense. I have other obligations, and it was always a little bit like, how am I going to put the time aside for this program? And I would say that the last thing I wanted to do more of was trading. It's something that I'm doing all the time. So my first reaction was like, okay, I'll probably pass on this. I'll try to meet with the guys once in a while and, pay attention to other things. But it actually proved to be completely opposite. So once we had the first meeting and looked how to organize ourselves, it became, really great excitement and a pleasure to work with the other guys in my group. And there are other actually professional traders in my group, but there is also a complete novice, extremely talented. And my task was to kind of organize everyone. And we developed a unique approach, I think, how we organized our trading, had an exceptional result over the 2 months. We were better than Professor Radak, which I think he does that on purpose. He let us beat him, but also there were student groups of who were amateurs who beat us by a good margin also. So it was very exciting until the last day. In literally the closing hours, we were fighting to move into position number 2, and it was on a profit of around $4,000. We were like $100 behind, literally in the last seconds. It was a bit like an NBA game, and it was a great learning experience also for me. I guess different, not so much about the specifics of markets, but more how to work with a team like this. And I know that for the others in my team, we all had different angles how we enjoyed it. So I think there is an abundance of knowledge and opportunity to learn, to excel, to grow, and to make connections here. It's really, really, really an exceptional group of people. And today, when also some of my friends who are Dan, I know for a very long time, is really great guy. And great excellent program, wonderful people and professionals, and I encourage everyone to at least find out more and see if there is something for them to learn from this community and to connect and grow and become students here if that's their path. From next year I'll be teaching the trading game, not the one that Professor Radak teaches, but another one in options trading, which is my specialty. And that was so far up until this year, it was taught by my first mentor and the person who gave me my first internship at JP Morgan, Mr. Janušević. And that's also another synchronicity, something unplanned and that just happened. So another special story for me, but try not to take more time for anyone. Thanks very much.
So listen, I wanted to say one thing he did for us that basically, of course, I was hoping, but I couldn't ask him ahead of time, that he was kind of helping us teachers when we were teaching financial derivatives, Mikica and me, to keep us straight. So he made a lot of great comments that actually improved the understanding of both us and of the students about many of the deeper things about financial derivatives that Andrea knows so much in that because he's living it.
Very much true.
Yeah. So for that, I am especially thankful, Andrea. And now, Mikica.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Andrea, for your warm words. Glad to hear that you are enjoying the program. And save your thoughts for later, please. Now we start with our students and our alumni. So first is Angela Basic. Can you hear us? Okay. From recently, our student assistant. Yes. Yes. From recently, our student assistant. I'm proud to say, from recently,
Stand up, please.
Working for Amina Bank. Maybe.
Hi.
Maybe
it's so strange. I expected that we will come there.
No, I believe there is a seat for you.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. And then you can use that microphone.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for awesome introductions. And I'm so happy to be here for the second year. Last year as a current student, this year as an alumni student. And what can I say? I can sum up my thoughts about the program in one sentence, which is if I knew everything I know now about the program, I would enroll all over again. So for me, this is very important because I graduated in computer science in Hong Kong, and afterwards I worked for about a year and a half in a hedge fund, a little bit more, in IT. And I really wanted to move to front office somehow, but I couldn't because I didn't have any formal education, knew nothing about finance. And with day-to-day tasks, it was so hard to learn it. So I decided to find a good master's. Then I found Branko, I found his program, and the rest is history. I moved back to Serbia, and enrolled in this master's and master's in informatics at Faculty of Mathematics. And it's been a rough year, but manageable, which is, I think, the best combo of tasks. Difficult, but manageable. I also got a chance to appreciate how the program is organized the most this year because I worked a little bit with Professor Radak as a student assistant, and I learned how, I mean, my work was minor, but I learned how difficult it is to organize these lectures, to think of good homeworks, compress difficult topics into simpler one, and work really from basics to applications. And I think this is a unique place when you can really do that in a year because professors are industry leaders. They're not just teaching, they're also working, so you really get the best of both worlds, right? On top of that, I can confirm this firsthand because all of these lectures helped me pass interviews for quant role at Amina Bank. Andrea, who you just met online, and we will hear more from him, is my manager. And although I'm a bit sad that I didn't get a chance to have him as my lecturer at derivatives course, which is also my favorite course, I get a chance to work with him and learn from him day to day at Amina, which in a way it's even better. And I'm 100% sure that derivative scores will be just strictly better with Andrea there. And that's all that program is about, really, just making something that is already great, even better with each iteration. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Next is Jelena Popara, Head of Internal Audit at Serbian Oil Company. Jan, please.
And one of the most inspiring leaders I know.
Thank you so much. Hello to everyone. Basically 3 years ago, me and my team, we came together to MCF, enrolled. We were lucky because our company was supporting this journey, understood the value of the knowledge that we could gain. And basically we came as completely, coming from the finance, and we're the team of internal auditors. We understood that every day we need to look at some data and so on. So basically we say, okay, either we will do it in an old way or we will just start to learn and how we really upgrade our business. Being in an oil and gas, we looked from completely another perspective. Basically, whatever the professor was teaching us, we were looking how we will do some optimization of our gas portfolio, or how we will trade with electricity, and how we will do it using some hedge, like basically some year-ahead trades instead of day trades, and preparing a lot of analysis that you can do. And it was really, how to say, a new way of communicating with our business, and basically even today we do it, and pushing them to learn more, to follow the analysis, to do different things, and not only to do the things in an old-fashioned way. So my message to all of you is that all of this knowledge that you will receive, which is completely applicable to everything that you do, doesn't matter the business that you are in, is actually look with your own eyes, with your own knowledge of the industry that you are in, and search the ways how you will apply it, because this is really will bring the new value to your company, to your own department, and to your professional development and to your career upgrade. So really supporting everything that Professor Branko is doing with all the professors. I really need to say that it was amazing time with so much inspiring professors, but also the people that were there, and the teamwork that we did. So really exceptional experience. Okay.
Jelena, I wanted to say, for me, it was a great pleasure when I realized that your group is actually using lots of the stuff that we were teaching. I never knew that for a fact that somebody is doing that. But then since I know you well and we are friends, and you guys were great in class and then after class, that was quite something. I was very impressed.
Thank you, both of you. Lazar Pupovac is our current generation student. He's an amazing guy. He comes from UniCredit for CRM division. Please.
Hello to everybody. Nice to see you in such a great number. I'm really proud to be a part of such a great program, which is MCF. I learned so much about finance. I always been passionate about that, but I really don't have a chance to learn some more because I am in mathematics from my early age, and I was in a mathematical grammar school and faculty of mathematics. And when I came here, I wanted to learn more about finance and use my knowledge in mathematics and programming to contribute in finance. And in the master program, I have such a great group. We are I don't know how to say, we have truly bound. I find friends for life, maybe future colleagues, and it's been an honor to listen to lectures from such great professors, and that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you, Lazar. Thank you, Lazar. Mladen Garić comes from Data Science Department of Generali Osiguranje. Please, Mladen, take over.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Test. So, yeah, I come from economic background, so becoming a data scientist, for me, it really felt like a distant goal. But the MCF program that had on me, it was very transformative, both for me personally and for my career. And as my colleagues have already praised MCF program, I want to emphasize all the professors that actually participate in this program. They are very, not only they are experts in their fields, they are also very supportive and heartwarming people. They have helped me a lot, and upon completion of the MCF program, I was offered by no other than Milan Nedeljković, the professor of statistics. He believed in me, and he offered me a job opportunity to work together with him, where I actually landed my first data science job. I learned a lot from him, both professionally and personally, and he was kind of a vote of confidence in my career when I needed it the most. And beside that, I also want to say that MCF really helped me a lot, gave me a lot of knowledge, challenged me in a particularly hard way, but manageable, as my colleague would say, and it also inspired me. So that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mladen. Thank you very much. Yet another guy from Data Science Department, Mladen Mišić, coming from Raiffeisen Bank.
Thank you.
Please take a stand.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be here today. My name is Mladen Mišić, and I come also from economics background. After graduating at the University of Belgrade Faculty of Economics, I started my professional career as a risk consultant at one of the big four companies, where I had the opportunity to work on different kinds of projects, many of which were related to the implementation of the IFRS 9 standard. By collaborating with different kinds of financial institutions, I gained valuable insights into how large organizations manage risk from both theoretical and practical standpoint. Following this experience, I transitioned into the insurance industry as a risk manager, where I had the opportunity to learn more about financial and market risks. By working closely with the actuarial department, the investment department, and the internal audit, I gained a more holistic view on how enterprise risk is managed and how different kinds of risk frameworks define supported strategic decision making in the industry. However, while I found this work rewarding from the beginning of my career, I was drawn to the world of data science, machine learning, and how these tools can be applied to solve complex problems in finance and risk management. And my previous experience, as well as academic background, led me to enroll into the Master in Computational Finance at the end of 2022. And the MCF program as such was a perfect fit for my interests. It combined advanced coursework in quantitative finance, investments, machine learning, and programming. Besides the technical skills, it also emphasized the practical applications, problem-solving skills, and I really appreciated learning from professors with lots of industry experience. The MCF program also gave me, besides strengthening my analytical skills, it also gave me confidence to apply for more technically demanding roles in the industry. Despite being demanding from time to time for someone who's working a full-time job, I really enjoyed all of the courses from the MCF program, especially machine learning and statistics and financial data analysis, which provided a solid foundation for the work I'm doing within my current role. Today, I'm employed as a senior data analyst at the PI and Micro SME Credit Risk Modeling Department at Raiffeisen Bank in Serbia. Within my current role, I'm responsible for the development of different kinds of risk models, such as scorecards, probability of default models, IFRS 9 impairment models, and all of these models play a critical role across the entire life cycle of credit products, starting from the initial underwriting and credit decisioning through provisioning, risk-weighted asset calculation, and capital adequacy assessment. My work consists of data pre-processing, future engineering, model development, and thorough documentation of the applied methodologies to meet the expectations of both the internal stakeholders and the external regulators. Within my day-to-day work, I use different kinds of programming languages and tools, and the MCF program allowed me to bridge the gap between the domain expertise in finance and the technical skills needed to build robust and regulatory compliant models. Looking back, I believe that enrolling into MCF was a great professional decision for me, and for anyone passionate about data, finance, and technology, I would definitely recommend it. Thank you very much.
So the last two presenters, am I correct? These are the last two?
Yes, the last two, yes.
They actually, in some ways, I love all of my students, of course, but the first generation is always first, right? So they were my, how do you call it, pokusni kunići. So we really terrorized them because we had to later on figure out what is the appropriate level of, pressure that we need to put our students through. So it's now much more manageable than it was in the first generation. So can you please now come? So first one is who?
Todor Mihailovic.
Todor, okay.
It's just become emotional.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So what I'd like to share with you is what is it that you'll get from the MCF. And it's really just another tool set in your toolbox. Which can be applied really in any area, not only in fintech. What I ended up doing is I applied all this knowledge from investment and other subjects that we had there. I applied it in digital marketing. And if you think about it, for example, any ad company, Google Ads or Facebook Ads, is acting as any stock exchange. You have people buying and selling ad space. It's driving prices up and down. It's the same as any stock exchange, right? And then all these basics can be applied there. So what you'll see there is hypes, bubbles. You'll see prices going up about buying ad space in a certain topic. The same way prices go up for a certain company because of everyone talking about it, right? And then if you're careful enough, you'll see these waves going up and down. And what MCF will do for you is it'll teach you how to swim in that ocean. And sometimes you'll be on top of that wave, and that's when you earn money.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And Nikola Krivačević, he's yet another student from first generation. Nikola, please.
And not just any student, but the valedictorian of the first generation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to see so much friendly faces, professors, industry experts, students. Yeah, we try to do same as many kind of previous students, kind of to try to explain the benefits, right? I'm kind of engineer as a background, so I was working in a fintech, working all the time with traders, risk managers, portfolio managers. I was learning finance on my own, but I felt like still that I'm missing and lacking some formal knowledge. So that was my reasons for enrolling kind of this master's program. And right, you'll meet so many talented people, smart people. You'll feel their energy is amazing. You'll learn a lot. Yeah, it can be hard, but still, as everybody said, manageable. So I think it's really worthwhile. So you can apply it to your career, you can apply it, all the knowledge to your kind of personal finance investing, which is amazing, right? Even if you're not doing some finance, fintech stuff, you can always invest on your own. And yeah, and to be honest, I feel like it definitely helped me at my own career as well. I'm now working kind of at Bitstamp. Oh, that's actually part of the Robinhood now. I'm leading engineering team for building derivatives, crypto trading. So yeah, it is also kind of fun to do it. And I feel like that I'm applying everything I learn kind of every single day at my job. Yeah. So I keep it short. That's it for me.
And we've now reached the questions and answers part of the festival. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts you'd like to share, now it's the perfect moment. Don't be shy. Please just introduce yourself briefly before asking your question, and microphone will be brought to you.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Yes.
Hi, Professor. It's Srđan. So briefly about me, I'm an economist by academic background, but I've been in tech for the last 11 years. First as a data scientist, now as a data engineer, and I plan to enroll into the master's program next year. My question is around the availability of the literature for the master's thesis. Does the school have access to some sort of library or repository of textbooks and research papers?
Yes. So first of all, I personally bought with my own money about 700 books. So yes. The second question, we also have heard Milena who talked about ARPM, which is a tremendous depository of knowledge. So between these two, plus, of course, online, you can get almost everything, almost all the working papers and almost all the published papers. So yes, indeed. No problem with that. Plus, we have, of course, online. We have online all the books, so all the books and textbooks and so on. I have online books also another, I don't know, 100, but in physical version, at least 700.
Please.
So, okay, can somebody bring the microphone? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me? Oh,
yes.
Okay,
yes.
Thanks. So my question, my name is Nikola. I'm the current student of the program, and I'm a front-end engineer. I've been like over a couple of years in the front-end space, over a couple of years in the blockchain space. My question is for either Professor Branko or Mikica about the program, because I think we mostly spoke about like the getting into the industry after the program and like people's experiences in the industry. But you mentioned a couple of students that got the professor positions. So my question is, how optimized is the program for later getting into the academia or like getting a PhD or something like that?
Sure, and actually there are other people that I was asked the same question from. So indeed, from time to time in every generation of the past 25 years, there is somebody who wants to do academic work. Because if you want to do a PhD and you don't want to be an academic, then you probably are kind of not doing the right thing, because it's not necessary. You can probably make as much money, you know, doing the other stuff. So it's about loving to do research and loving to teach, or both, ideally both. And so the program is perfect for this, because, but I would suggest if you want to do that, it would be a very good idea to do a very good master thesis, because it's not very hard to finish a master thesis, but if you want to do a good one, then it actually pays to invest some effort, and of course we can talk about that. Luckily, several of our professors actively published, so we can guide you in that. The second issue is you need to, of course, if you want to do a PhD, most likely you don't want to do a PhD locally. You want to go do a PhD abroad, and there are several programs with whom I have personal connections, because remember, I did 2 PhDs in a top school. So when I interviewed for after the finishing finance, I got 32 schools to interview with me. So I met almost everybody who is somebody. And of course, some of them still remember me, and we are in touch. We also organized one of the best scientific conference with Professor Milan Nedeljković. And so yes, we have a lot of contacts between the two of us, plus Nikola Vasiljević. You should be okay.
Thank you. And maybe just a sub-question on this, because a lot of the all of the professors are industry leaders. Basically, they have vast experience in the industry as well. So would you recommend maybe after this master's program to dip our toes into the industry first, or to maybe go into the research straight away?
Well, you already have some industry experience. So if you want to do a PhD, you might as well, if you have a clear idea what you would like to research on. Because remember, PhD is mostly about thinking about research and writing papers that somebody is going to publish and read, hopefully. So this is something that, but we can talk about that. It's important to choose the good topic, and it's not quite easy, but there are now such exciting times. Of course, these are now times that can inspire us to maybe think outside of the box, because the global economy, as we know it, may undergo a lot of changes. And this, of course, provides an opportunity to do very non-trivial research.
Thank you.
And in addition, you should follow your heart.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Very good point. So if there is no other questions, then let's start the final part.
There is a question
Oh, yeah,
from Foya, if you can see in the chat.
Ah, okay, yes, please. There is Vlado also asking.
In the chat.
In the chat, I don't. But I don't know. Check the chat.
Let's check the chat.
You see that? Oh my God.
Good.
This is what I didn't want to do.
Okay. Please, would the session be recorded?
Yeah. So Julius is asking a question.
Yes, it would be recorded indeed, and we will post it on LinkedIn.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So, you made mention of a boot camp, or a sort of. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So you mentioned a boot camp, like a sort of equalizer session, where the intending candidates can close their learning gaps or knowledge gaps.
Indeed.
In areas of programming, maths, and the rest. How in depth is the boot camp expected to be? Because some of us are coming from rusty backgrounds in maths, and particularly, I'm reasonably proficient in R, right?
Okay.
But I haven't touched Python.
Okay.
So how in depth will the bootcamp be in terms of preparing us for the depth in the course proper?
Okay, so basically the way it works is like this. So we have about 2 months. It's pretty intense, and you work in groups. And so working in groups, we put you to try to kind of put you together with some people who know much more about some of the topics that you don't know. And so that's how we help. In addition, the way it is set up, we try to teach you things from scratch, but it requires you to follow. So you need to put an effort. So this is not a trivial thing to do, but it's doable. So as I said, there are people that didn't do any math in college, for example, coming from, I don't know, various schools that have nothing to do with math. And still they can do it very well because they were quite motivated. So it's really, it's organized very carefully so that you can really learn whatever you don't know, what is needed. And what you don't know, if you still don't know something, you learn along in the process of the program.
Yeah, thank you, sir. My second question would be not so much of a question as more of a suggestion or an observation. Is I went through the ARPF's website.
Yes.
Right, and it's, as you said, it's really a rich resource for mathematical finance and related areas. But the depth of the course is really wide. It's really rich. In fact, I don't think do you think it's possible to cover the breadth and depth of the program in 1 year?
No,
and
no.
Then
So
are you not thinking about expanding the program to be a 2-year program?
Okay.
So that much of what is learned can seep in.
Okay. So Julius, listen. Basically, there is no end of learning. So you start, and by the time you finish the program, you will know a lot more than what if you put an effort. If you do all the group assignments, if you put an effort, if you study the materials, because we are giving you all the detailed explanations step by step how things are done. And then if you put an effort, if you are ready to do it, if you are ready to commit your time and effort, nobody that we accept cannot learn enough to be able to get a lot of benefit from it. But of course, you can continue learning further. And then, of course, you will get even more benefit from the ARPM materials because they are challenging materials. They are not for people that first time see math. But our notes are made, we start with the basics, but we go up in a pretty steep learning curve, which it requires us, everybody is required to put an effort and to help each other out in your group, okay? Is that clear?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
And the only thing we insist on is motivation.
Yeah.
As long as you are highly motivated, you are just fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can learn anything, but if you don't want to learn, there is nothing we can do.
Is there? I'm sorry, I'm still dragging you further. Is there an opportunity for intending students to opt for an on-campus program rather than online?
Well, look, if you apply for the program, we can talk about it. We need to understand your situation. You need to understand how things work. Basically, yes, it is a possibility, but depends on which country you come from, whether you can get a visa, all that. We have the procedures for that, but this is something we can discuss separately. I wouldn't want to bother the rest of the audience with that.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for dragging you.
No problem. That's okay. So, Vlado, you had some question, I think, maybe at one point, or maybe I'm wrong. No, maybe.
If it's me, unless there's any other
Yes.
Vlado.
Yes, you are Vlado. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Because you raised your hand.
Okay, right here.
If you're not raising hand, maybe this is a cold call of a teacher, to another teacher. Vlado is a friend of mine who is a teacher in a very good French business school. So, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Branko, and I'm very happy to hear about the program. And of course, I'm very happy to intervene and to teach the classes in the program.
Yes.
And in any case, I didn't have a question, but I wanted to point out a couple of things which I really found very interesting and very unique. I want to point out that now, indeed, we are in very special times when we can look almost at any point along the value chain in finance, and we see many, many opportunities to implement new tools, new ideas, new research, and come up with an innovative solution, new research ideas. And this is something that I'm personally involved in, and I spent my whole life basically at the nexus of academia and financial practice. And I really think that this is the unique time to come up with new paradigms, new ideas that really fundamentally change the financial system. And actually, I'm most involved in developing and coming up with new financial infrastructures. And I'm very excited to share the opportunities with the students and with everybody who is interested. So again, thank you, wonderful, and it's great to see and hear from the other professors as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vlado.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
You're absolutely right, and it's a frustration that people are not. They're still living in the old world, and they're using tools and AI and this and that, but to such a limited extent. And for example, what we did in the last 2 years is we created a virtual investment bank. So we have a couple of employees. That's it.
Oh.
Everything else is done by software. Everything else done. And so, for example, we talk about Python, we underestimate it, etc. But really, that's like the most basic tool. We used to have a person a week just getting financial stuff, because our accounting framework, it goes through German 19th century system, etc. And it's just not at all IFRS compatible. You can't, according to international financial reporting standards. Whereas it used to take a person, maybe they could do 3 or 4 a week, now we can do it in like 20 seconds. But what is the point of doing that if you still have the same number of employees, if you're still keeping the same model? The AI doesn't work. And then nobody wants AI that's across the board. And please tell me to stop when I'm famous for going on and on. Everybody wants their own silo, so they trust law firms, trust their own little AI bank. They will not use in others. It's just, and it's the same in banking as well. But what is the point of doing all this when you're not really having any economic benefits? So I completely agree with you. And it's extremely rare, but this is the future. No, it's here now. Okay. Financial instruments that are done, and institutions that don't employ 200 people, but employ 10.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid also the same will happen with schools, because we are teaching all these things, and our program is creating the tools for our own destruction in the future. So we need to keep modernizing what we are doing. And so at some point, hopefully, it will exist even when we are gone. Without us, just the tools that are basically running everything. But let us give a chance for a short discussion with Marco and Andrea, and then, of course, Vlado, you can pitch in as well, because, and who else wants to?
Of course.
About these topics that you guys mentioned.
So, what does the industry expect from tomorrow's talent? Here with us are Marko Evremovic, our dear advisory board member, and Andrea Čobolić. I just hope that Andrea will continue with the same enthusiasm. Please, guys.
Thanks, Mikica. Thanks, Branko. Yeah, so basically what we aim to discuss briefly with
I'm sorry, can you introduce yourself briefly, Marko?
Sure.
Marko is our board member.
My last role was in the industry was I was executive director at JP Morgan, and I was leading a global team from New York, one of the global teams of quantitative researchers. And now for the past 3 years, I'm doing my own ventures. So more on that, I hope, very soon. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So please, now I interrupted you, so you can continue.
Yeah, so where was I? So the topic is basically what the industry expects from tomorrow's talent and conversation with financial leaders, right? So effectively, we hope that you're convinced already to join the masters for those that haven't joined. What we wanted to discuss briefly here is assume you finish your masters, what to do next, how to apply for jobs, what is it that industry is looking for, and what are some things to bear in mind. So for those that haven't joined masters yet, this is also very useful because they can bear this in mind and take more from the masters, right? So basically take as much as possible to further their career. And for those that did finish master's degree, maybe this is useful at this stage, right? So the one obvious thing is that CV and LinkedIn, they're both very important. And actually, of course, you know, assume that you joined the interview process. During the interview process, it is assumed that you're very well qualified after this master's degree to pass the technical interview. So we assume that that is a given. So what are the other things that you can also focus on? And what is something that will draw attention of the interviewers is having some sort of material that you can talk about. That is certainly going to increase your chance. So imagine from the perspective of the interviewer, they are regularly dealing with, 20, 30 CVs, 50 CVs. So I think during my career, I've seen hundreds, maybe even thousands of CVs. And, I can see that if there is something that will make you stand out, make sure to put it on CV, right? Because sometimes tiny differences are making pros and cons. And what are these things that will make it stand out is potentially some additional work that you did, right? So What can that be? That can be either the interesting master paper, the interesting internship, or the interesting project on the GitHub, right? And we'll touch briefly on each of these. So maybe Andrea, he has some useful inputs on the CV part.
Thanks, Marco. Yeah, so you know, we're living in a digital world. You can reach, you know, you can reach anywhere in the world through the online platforms, and also through a good CV, right? Like, for example, for me, what's worked well, I'm not someone who likes to spend too much time designing documents. I'm always more interested in, you know, what is really happening, or like in real life stuff. But I found a tool that I like to use online is called resume.io. Resume.io. And I'm sure it's not the only, I'm not advertising that tool. It's just something that I found, but I'm sure that there are many others that can help you quickly. You know, you put your picture in and a few, you know, kind of you're filling out a form, and you can choose it's not one same form for everything. There are different forms and there are different outputs that you can get. But, you know, knowing your own history and what you're going for, you can really quickly do a very, very good resume that will, you know, stick out and look better than most who are doing them manually. Additionally, for example, this one resource, if you join it, I think it's not expensive per month. It's something like, I don't know, $10 or something like that per month. And then once you've created your CV, you can kind of pay for a special one-on-one session with one of the mentors there. That will be 50 or 100 euros or something like that, dollars. But they can then help you sharpen it up. You know, even the tool itself will give you some advice, or they will read it, and if they think you might be a customer, they'll give you like the first review for free. But it's very cool. It will tell you, okay, you know, don't write things historically, but talk about impact of the things that you did, or talk about what impact you want to make rather than how much money you want to make or what position you want to have, and things like this, like things that stick out when you read. It says this is like an active person who is engaging, right? And you know, it's not a big investment to invest, you know, a couple of $100 or euros into your future job or career today, especially if you're accessing the global market, right? You know, another quick thing is, you know, use the network at the program. Use professors, lecturers, colleagues to give you feedback when you created something, to tell you. I mean, you can quickly really excel this way, and you don't need to have you can get the feedback you need before you've sent your thing out, right? And sometimes this is difficult for people in more technical professions, but use the human capital that you already have in the program. So that's a quick one from me on that, Marco. Back to you.
Let me just say something quickly. So basically, as the current students and the previous ones can confirm, we do actually care about you guys. So I do it because of that. Otherwise, I'm getting old and tired, and I wouldn't do it if I didn't. And so that's important. This is not very common. So you go to these large foreign master programs, and they don't know who you are at all. They have no idea. And certainly wouldn't care anything about what happens to you. So I'd like you all to be successful, and therefore we put an effort to help you out, you know, to do what we can. Yeah, Marco.
Yeah. Thanks, Branko, for what you're doing. Yeah. So
I charge nothing for that.
I want to touch briefly on some of the topics that I mentioned actually before, and actually this is about GitHub and master thesis. So you will be actually surprised how few CVs I've seen personally that actually put GitHub link inside, which is actually very surprising, even that the role is technical and it does involve coding. So I think something that can be done with much lower effort these days than previous time with the advent of AI. Now you can have multiple projects, small projects, and you can upload them to GitHub. And I think that will also, if the project is interesting, that can also, draw attention to your CV. And in terms of the, master thesis and GitHub, how to choose these, of course, you can focus on focusing on a new technology like AI and blockchain. And obviously, you can discuss with Branko and with professors and other people that have more connections with the industry. What are the topics that could be interesting? And the other way, obviously, that I mentioned is internships. Yeah, it's great if you manage to find them as well in the industry. Alternatively, in the search of interesting projects, you can contact directly Andrea, myself, or the other people. Oh, do you have maybe some internship? Who knows? Maybe we do, right? And that also gives you the opportunity, because then working directly on something relevant gives you the opportunity to talk about during on the interview, right? You have the actual some hands-on experience.
Marko, you actually offered your help on supervising some master thesis. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Drago, you were raising your hand. Do you want to say something? Drago? Yeah, we lost him. No,
no. I'm also handling questions in a queue.
Okay.
Santic asked
okay, that's
questions.
Fine. You then do that. Okay.
Just on this, because it's always a question, what are we going to do after we graduate, etc. The network you have here, I mean, the people just on this call are fantastic. I don't know if you know Andrea or Drago, they have 20 plus years of experience at top banks, Marko, a whole bunch. I mean, it's a small world in terms of finance in this country and in this region. I mean, it just is. So that is you will have an opportunity to. I mean, networking is a huge part of the program. Just like doing an MBA, I just want to say that's a really important part of it, and will lead to obviously great things after.
Okay, so.
Yes. Can I continue, or we still have a few things, or?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please do so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Marko, did you finish your part, or no? You didn't.
No, it's yeah. Please go ahead.
He's just warming up.
Okay. All right. So you pick it up from me. No. So something that I wanted to say, and that Mikica mentioned before, very briefly, but it's very important. Here we talked about the CV and the network and all of this kind of stuff, right? But I have it here in my notes. Go for jobs that are interesting for you. Like, figure out what you want. Figure it out. You have the program, you have the people, the professionals, you have other students, you have the internet. Use the time, try different things. Figure out what drives you. Figure out what you cannot sleep. You can't go to sleep until you finish doing something. Figure out what that is and go for that. That's more, I think that's more important than anything else. These other things, they're really just tools. And you can do all the mental math and work and all the probabilities you want when you're looking for a job, but it will, like, if the energy is right, if you're on your path, if you know what you're looking for, or at least if you're trying, right? Like, you don't need to know exactly what it is, but you're excited because you're looking for it. That will really open up the doors. It did for me always. It also got me here in this community. But it's it's more relevant to find this and to use the time that you have at the university, or sorry, in the program, to figure these things out, than to just play the odds. Of course, for playing the odds, you'll have an excellent degree and good tools to also go for something, but nothing can compensate what is inside you, driving you to go for every day. And that's what's special about Branko. He is doing exactly, if I may say so, but he's doing exactly what he's meant to be doing, and we are all around him here. Everyone who I know in finance, who is also, let's say, academically oriented and more science-driven in finance, is somehow connected to Branko. That I've met over the 20, and I only know Branko for 3-4 years, something like that. So this is special, and the resonance is high, so use that. Find that in yourself when you are with all of us. I didn't mention in my opening remarks also a really special former student who's now working with us here, Angela, who is really I've been 6 months in the program, and for me, I managed to find the resource that I was looking for a little while, and for the bank, it was the first Serbian hire that we made. We made a special hire as an external, like a special setup just for her to start working with us. She came. I met her through Branko's network. I went to him. I said, "Look, I want to hire someone. You know everyone. Everyone's been through here, so help me find someone." And Branko found several excellent candidates and gave the highest recommendation for Angela. And I've tried with everyone, and she was the best for the position. But funnily enough, also people at the bank who interviewed her, I created this position. As I said, it didn't exist. External quant hire out of Serbia. It did not exist before. And we're a young bank, 200 people, something like that. But so I had some internal resistance from HR. They prefer to hire in India, where we have people, we have the whole setup and everything. But once they met Angela, they just everyone was suddenly helping me get the job done as soon as possible on good terms, right? She's doing very well in this short time, like something like 3-4 weeks. But what was special about her, if you want to get the job externally, be like Angela, ask her also. She was thinking out of the box. She was very, very passionate and excited, but she also went an extra mile. I asked her to do one thing in the first interview, in the technical interview. I gave her an assignment. She gave me back like a whole project, I don't know, 10 pages, everything I asked for, documented with like code and all I asked for were results. I wanted to see a chart of something, analysis. It could have been done on one page, but it was like, I don't know, 10 or 15 page document with full analysis of the code, variations, problems, solutions, and then like alternative, something that she's thinking about how this can also be done. And, she would do this in like, I don't know, 1.5 days or something like that. And so it was interesting because I found that so interesting that I kept on asking her to do other technical things. So probably even too many. She did like 3 or 4 short projects. I couldn't help myself but ask, already knew that she was the main candidate, but I just was curious about other things that we can kind of, how we can develop our collaboration, maybe with some other groups in the bank, and wanted to introduce her and stuff like that. So really, this is something special, and that can only come if you're passionate. You have no chance. If you don't have the passion, you can't go that extra mile. And I think Nicola here before asked, like, should you go for the PhD or a job? I think you have resources in the program to do either, or something completely different. If you decide to do something completely third out of that. But whatever it is, just you should figure it out what it is. Talk to professor, talk to Talk to me, I owe you one because you beat us in the trading game. So, you know, talk to Marco, to other guys, and you'll figure it out. But do that for yourself before you decide. Follow your passion and excitement, you know. And you know, maybe the final thing, one more time, you know, leverage that network that exists already in this program. It's special. And then if you want to go outside of that, again, a quick technical thing, there are more and more headhunters on LinkedIn. You have to be able to tell who are the good ones, who are the bad ones, and maybe we can also help you with that if you're in that position, who's wasting your time or who's actually insincere. But some of them are sincere, and sometimes they bring unexpected job offers and opportunities. This is also becoming more developed, so you know you can also leverage that part. And when you go for your network, then go for your best connections. You know, again, leverage the relationships that you have personally, where you feel either you know someone already very well, or you feel really good about that person, even though you don't know them. That's, you know, that's always like that's always a good leading sign. Do you feel connected to someone you don't know? If you do, go for it, and who knows, magic happens, you know. Quickly, last thing, and maybe this is then pass it back to Marco. We were talking about this, but okay, technically you will learn a lot of things. You'll know enough. How to go into finance today, become a master of like AI and blockchain, or AI or blockchain or something, one of these new things, because it is so disruptive. It is so it's changing everything. And you know, older people just can, this is not about the age, right? But the longer you have been doing something, the harder it is to pivot and change direction completely. And so if you go to some of the companies, their positions don't have really openings for AI or blockchain experts. But if you have that in your toolbox, it'll make you more interesting, and it'll give you an opportunity to excel a lot faster, because everyone needs it today, right? And so you can become a leader in the company that you join, because your mind is open and empty, and you can like a sponge, you can suck in all this new knowledge and become a kind of assistant or a guide for the people who are there already, doing regular things that the company's been doing. Like if it's a bank, doing same things for the last 50 years, right? So that's also something that I would recommend. But yeah, Marco, back to you.
We have 4 more minutes, and then we have a hard break. So
sure.
Not breaking all our hearts, but hard stop. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, what to say after what Andrea said? I mean, there's nothing left, really. Just join the masters, right? Do we have maybe time for maybe one more question, or Branko, maybe you want to continue?
I want to continue. No, if there are questions, if not, you know, I wanted to say thank you everybody for coming here, both online and offline, in person in this heat. I really appreciate it, and all of us. It's first of all, it's a great pleasure seeing many of my familiar faces, but also the new faces that I hope to get to know. And it is always a pleasure, because somehow, you know, it's a good thing when you feel a good atmosphere, and you know, the people understand each other, and we are building something special here, and we want to continue doing that. And I feel very privileged that I got the chance to do something that I love, and all of you are helping me do that. So what can I say? I'm very thankful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you, Marco and Andrea. It was very insightful. We are all living in a digital world, as Andrea pointed out. It is supposed to boost students' chances, right? But it's actually more stressful. The HR is overwhelmed by 1,000 CVs, while average guy sends thousands of emails, right? So every shortcut and insight that you gave us tonight is precious, and you guys just gave us plenty of them. Thank you for that again. Yeah.
God, ne mogu da isključim.